Hey everybody, I hope you guys have been having a great day so far. Wanted to start out by saying thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the last video, which was that of my graduation from boot camp for the United States Navy. Alright, I wouldn't feel right starting this video without first and foremost thanking my beautiful wife, Shelly, for everything that she's done. Both for me and for herself and our children while I'm away. She is the epitome of what a woman and a wife and a mother should be. And when military individuals go abroad or leave their homes, most people thank them for their service. But I would like to take this moment to thank Shelly for hers. For her sacrifice of not having me home to help with the kids, to help with everything around the house, to help with life in general. So Shelly, thank you, babe. I love you and I'm so proud of you. You know that. Alright, for those of you that don't know, my name is Seaman Apprentice Patrick, and I'm only referring to myself as that now because whether I wear uniforms, t-shirts, or just civilian clothes, anything and everything I say now represents the United States Navy. Now, with that being said, I want to make it abundantly clear that I am not a politician. I will not dive into politics. I won't talk about it. I don't care to have those kind of arguments or anything. Okay? So, now that that's off the table, I'm going to make it also abundantly clear. I'm in Texas. Not saying where, not saying my location. It's hot. It's the middle of the summer. It's only going to get worse. So if I'm sweating, get over it. Please. I love you guys. But hey, it's a normal thing that's going to be happening. And I am going to share every step of my journey without sharing all the details like I usually do. Okay? I'm going to start this off by saying the Sailor's Creed, because that is, other than my family, the number one reason why I joined the United States Navy. Okay, I am a United States sailor. I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, and I will obey the orders of those appointed over me. I represent the fighting spirit of the Navy and those who have gone before me to defend freedom and democracy around the world. I proudly serve my country's Navy combat team with honor, courage, and commitment. I am committed to excellence and the fair treatment of all. Alright guys, so I graduated boot camp, right? June 18th. I was told it would be June 17th of 2021. It wasn't. It was actually Thursday, June 18th, 2021. I wanted to dive in real quick and talk about the experience, so to speak, when it comes to what Navy boot camp was like during coronavirus. Because, as you guys are well aware, my family and I have gone through quite a bit of changes over the last 2 years during this entire epidemic. Okay? One of them being my wife had our beautiful baby girl, Liliana, during this time. So, she kind of got her hoorah, you could say, and I got my hooyah through the Navy. That's our little saying to celebrate, hooyah. But we've both overcame extreme challenges during this time, both of them incredibly difficult and incredibly important. Okay, boot camp was difficult, to say the least. However, for a 26-year-old male who was overweight, I lost 45 pounds at boot camp. I went in to the DEP program, which is basically just a starting out program before you go to boot camp, at 185 pounds. Okay? When I flew out from Arizona to Chicago, Illinois, which is where our boot camp is stationed, right? They ended up putting us in a 2-week quarantine at Fort McCoy in Wisconsin. It's an Army base. While I was there, all we did is eat, poop, fart, work out, and sleep. And it felt more like we just ate, pooped, and farted. Heck, we farted more than we pooped. And I only share that gory, disgusting little detail because that's legit, I kid you not, all we were doing. And it wasn't normal. You know, you might fluctuate once or twice a day, if that, right? No, this was the entire day in the barracks. It was disgusting, all right? It was really bad. And with that being said, it's not surprising to me that when I got to boot camp after that 2-week quarantine, they weighed me and my heart sank because I went from being 185 pounds, and my wife and my in-laws will agree with me when I say this, I tried really hard to lose weight to get to the bare minimum of what I needed to get to for my age and height requirements, right? After that 2-week quarantine, I was back up to 225 pounds. My military ID is a picture of me, of course, and I look like a very angry, fat ogre. And I worked out while at ROM or Fort McCoy, whatever you want to call it, quarantine. And it was very unfortunate because it was going to make my boot camp experience that much harder, okay, to have to lose weight again and more than I had previously. I was back to the biggest I had ever been in my entire life, which is, again, 225 pounds. All through boot camp, I ended up getting what's called a rack mate. The racks are these bunk beds, right? I was bottom rack, and my rack mate was top rack. I got beat in boot camp. For those of you that don't know what being beat is like, it's IT, intensive training, intensive workouts, where you don't have an option. It's yes, sir, you get on the ground and you do whatever exercise your recruit division commander is giving you. If they tell you you're doing 8 counts, you're doing 8 counts. If you're doing push-ups, you're doing push-ups. If they want you to do a 10-minute plank, you're doing a 10-minute plank. Like, it doesn't matter what exercise they want you to do. You're going to do it, and you're going to do it without fail. And if you fail, you're screwed, okay? So, I got beat almost every single day of boot camp. Why? Was I screwing up? Was I being dumb? No. I'm very good at taking orders. I'm very good at being a leader. Primary problem? My rack mate smiled every day. I kid you not. And it became this thing between he and I. We would just smile because boot camp was actually one of the easiest experiences of my life. Okay? The hardest part of boot camp for me, and I'm 26. All right? There's people in there who were 18, 19, and it was way easier for them. I'm an old cat, they would say. I was the grandpa, one of the grandpas of my division. Okay? The hardest part of boot camp, being away from my wife, being away from my kids. Not having my phone. Gotta put that out there. Not having the phone was big. But my wife kept sending me pictures and letters, so that helped tremendously. So if you've got a loved one and they're joining the military, I don't care what branch, do me a huge favor and do them a huge favor. Heck, even do it for yourself. Write them. Send them photos. I understand it's an inconvenience. Sometimes you gotta go to the post office, get the right packaging, yada, yada, yada. But that person is going through one hell of a challenge. And getting that letter, it's one of the greatest feelings in the world. We've all been told our whole lives that our bank, our livelihood, our privacy, everything's on this one little device, right? Your relationships, most of the time, are on this device. They strip that away from you. And for me, it was for 10 weeks. For the first 2 weeks, it was even harder. At Fort McCoy, they didn't let us have mail, period. You didn't get to send mail. You didn't get to receive mail. The only time you heard from the outside world is if a family member died. Then they would inform you. But beyond that, nothing. All right? Fast forward a little bit. into our first week of boot camp, I ended up, there's this thing, right, where, and I'm not going to share too much detail. Again, everything I say reflects my corporation now. But there's this walk that you got to do. And it's the first time you do it, so it seems like forever. It really does. I volunteered and I got it. I volunteered to be what's called the Master at Arms of the division, the MA. The MA's job in a division is to uphold discipline, law and order, basically to make sure everybody's on their toes, they're doing their jobs, they're keeping the ship and the compartment you're all living in clean, orderly, everybody's behavior's on point, and they're not speaking out of turn, stuff like that, right? Well, the MA is also supposed to be the picture perfect individual that is strong, leader, all the above, right? During this walk, backtrack just a tiny bit, the day of the walk, me and the AROC, which is like the assistant manager of the division, right? He's like the assistant leader of the division. There's the RPOC, who's the leader, the AROC, and the MA, and the yeoman. So the AROC and I, being the AROC and the MA of the division, we had to stay behind while everybody else packed their sea bag. It's this giant green bag. Once it's full, it's like 40 pounds-ish, maybe a little bit more depending on what's in it. And you got to throw that sucker on your back. They had to carry their heavy backpack in their left hand, which was another like 35 pounds once you filled that sucker up. And yeah, so once we got down there, by the way, I've got roommates coming in too, so if you guys hear them, that's not a big deal. I've only got 2 other roommates. You're good, man.
Sorry.
So I just wanted to share that while everybody else was getting their sea bags on, me and the AROC were still in our compartment, right, which is this giant room where we all live, and we were waiting for what's called the OOD, the officer of the deck, to come up and inspect the entire compartment. It's the MA and the AROC's job to walk with the OOD around the compartment, checking all the checkpoints to make sure everything's on point and get the OOD's approval, like, hey, this room looks good, you guys did a great job, or B, you guys screwed it up, and before you guys leave the ship, you better clean it again, and this time do it right. So we make our rounds, yada yada, he likes it, boo-hoo. All right, we move on. I get back downstairs to where everybody's at. They've already got their sea bags on, they've got the straps tied, and they're ready to go. We're ready to march. And I've got to just quickly throw mine on, and someone tells me, hey, your rack mate, he's not here. He had to go to medical. So you're carrying his other sea bag, and then you're going to have your backpack in your left hand. Gotcha. 10-4, whatever, I'll do it. Big mistake. Notice I said everybody tied their straps. I didn't know that was a thing. So immediately I throw on my sea bag on my back. I throw his sea bag on my chest. And then I have my backpack in my left hand. And we start marching out of the ship, which is just a big building. But we refer to every building as a ship in the Navy. So we get to marching. And we don't even get about halfway. And I start feeling my sea bag coming undone at the straps. And it's falling almost... It's exactly like a gigantic backpack. The straps are coming loose. And when I go to pull the straps back down to tighten it, my rack mate comes completely undone, falls, and it fell so quickly that the boots inside of the sea bag hit my shins and made me trip and fall. I landed right on my face. Luckily, I caught myself with my hands so I didn't hurt it, right? As I reach down to push myself off the asphalt, get back up, and I'm trying to get his sea bag on, mine slips off my back. Fun stuff. So now I have both sea bags completely undone, and I have an entire division that's been marching being told to halt and wait for me. Again, a lot of pressure. I'm sweating. It's hot. I just want to quit, but I don't. I throw the first one on, I tighten it, I get the other one on my back, tighten it, pick the backpack up, back off the ground, and I fall in, we march. We keep going, right? I'm pushing on. We get about another half mile in. Same dang thing happens, man. And this time, our recruit division commanders tell the entire division, screw MA, he's a weak-ass recruit, go around him. Now, for those of us who love military movies and stuff like that, we always hear leave no man behind, hoorah, Marine Corps, all that crap, right? Well, guess what? That didn't happen. Okay, our RDCs, the recruit division commander, straight said leave his ass behind. He's dead weight, leave him. And they were going around me. I was picking up both sea bags, and someone kept screaming. I don't know who it was, but one of the other recruits was like, tie the damn straps, Patrick. Tie them. I'm like, all right, I will. I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. So I'm just putting the freaking sea bags back on my back and chest. Try to pick up my backpack, and right as I reached down for it, the sea bag on my chest came undone for a third time. And at that point in my mind, I told myself, I've got two options. I can keep picking up this damn backpack and keep having this one fall off my chest, or I can leave that backpack right where it's at and I can just keep going. They never said that backpack needed to make it to wherever the hell we were going. They said I needed to. So I left it. I didn't care. For all I know, it was still going to be there when we made it to our destination, right? Well, luckily someone came up beside me and they tied the straps for me, which was super helpful because I had no idea what the hell they were talking about. Again, they all prepped while I was dealing with the OOD with my AROC at the time. So, long story short, we make it to our final destination, which was the USS Hopper. It was great, had a great time. Funny thing is that they referred to that half of the base as Hollywood. Apparently we have everything we need in our ship. Whereas if we were on the other half of the base, you have to march to all of your classes and stuff like that, right? So, we get back to our new ship, and the first thing that happens when we get in there, of course, the recruits are starting to take their sea bags off, and the RDCs come up, and they still have to show that show of strength, right? It's still first week, they need to be a-holes. So they're like, who told you to take off your sea bags? Throw them back on. So we all grunt, throw the shit back on our backs, and kind of sit back. And our second RDC came in. I can't use names. He comes in and he goes, Patrick, front and center. I get up there. Aye, petty officer. And he looks at me and goes, you're fired. Fired me as MA. Told me, there's no room in a division for a weak-ass recruit. We don't need you as MA. You're done. You're fired. Who wants to be MA? One of the other recruits raised his hand. You're hired. He didn't even know the guy. He just hired him because anybody in his eyes would have been better than me. Now, I talked to that RDC when I graduated, and he said that it's all an act, right? He just needed to see if I would buckle after being fired, after enduring such a stressful freaking walk. And the worst part is that walk wasn't even 2 miles. Come to find out, wasn't even 2 miles. As we were leaving, I got to check on my phone. Wasn't even 2 miles. It's hilarious. So yeah, that was it's about the second week of boot camp. The first week of boot camp was all what we called P days, which is processing days. We got our shots, our medical, mental, dental, whatever you needed, health-wise or mentally, you got it done during that week, for the most part. All right, most of the people who didn't make it through boot camp, most of them, we saw them leave within the first 1 or 2 weeks. Our second RDC loved to say that this thing's not forever. It's not for everybody. I told you guys at the start of this video, it really was not that difficult, like, at all. Again, the hardest thing for me, and I was fat and old compared to most of the people in my division, the hardest thing was being away from my wife and kids. The intensive training wasn't even that bad. Most of y'all know I was a personal trainer before boot camp, so it wasn't anything new to me, but there were a couple things that challenged me a lot. The 8 counts were hell the first 3 weeks of boot camp. For those of you that aren't aware, because of quarantine, ROM as they call it, it was a total of 10 weeks. 2-week quarantine, 8-week boot camp, 10 weeks total. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to share the first 2 weeks of boot camp in this video. For those of you that are watching up until this point, just want to say, especially if this is your first time on my channel, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you want to see more, feel free to subscribe. I really don't care if you do or don't. It'd be great if you do, but it's all the same to me if you don't. For those of you that are watching and your regulars, welcome back. Appreciate you. Love you guys. Again, I could not have done this without my wife. Her support and her love, her encouragement every day has been freaking incredible. Couldn't have done it without her. Couldn't have left without her dang permission anyways. So, but yeah, a lot of you guys have been incredibly supportive, and I just want to say thank you. Sometimes I can come across as very prideful, very arrogant, or even
dick.
Yeah, a dick, as my roommate said. But for the most part, that's all a facade. You know, I'm just like you guys. I go through a lot of crap. I try to mask it with humor. I play around a lot, but at the end of the day, yeah, that too. But for the most part, I do love you guys. A lot of y'all see me as a leader, and I think that's great and all. But more importantly than that, if you guys need anything, I'm not just a leader, I'm a brother. So if you need anything, whether you're military or not, hit me up. You guys, you've got me on social media, which brings me to my next point. I'm not doing that anymore. Especially that I'm married with kids. I will not, I repeat, not be doing Facebook and Instagram anymore. I've kept Facebook Messenger for the people on there who I do not share my phone number with. But Facebook app, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, all that stuff, no. Mostly those apps try to pick up on your location even when you deny access, and then they want access to all your photos and videos from your phone and stuff like that. Now, look, privacy is of utmost importance now. So for those of you really wanting to follow my wife and I's journey through the Navy and everything, again, this YouTube channel is probably going to be your best bet, at least for the next 5 to 10 years. Like, I'm not playing with y'all. This is it. All right, you guys are going to get to see us drive our RV, drive the truck, all that fun stuff to whatever duty stations they place us. But yeah, no Facebook, no Instagram, strictly YouTube. I'm not going to be sharing locations. You might hear me share a state, if that. But yeah, no. I've got minors that are my responsibility. It's just not going to fly. All right, I'm going to be very strict on that. My wife is very good and very committed to teaching me not to share too many details as well. So she will catch me when I'm sharing too much, and she will nip it in the butt, and I mean quick. So yeah, I love you all. Again, thanks for watching this video. I hope you all have a great night. And again, just thank you all for your support. See you later.